really working hard to create a sense of peace and well being in your home and environment. And you're doing really well. But what happens when you have an event or a holiday coming up that might test your abilities to maintain your peace? Or you find yourself in a situation that suddenly is testing your peace. What do? You can't avoid the event. It is one of those times when you've decided to be present, but how do you protect yourself and your inner peace? Stay tuned to learn how I prepare for and manage those times when my peace is tested.
Hey, beautiful disaster. Yeah, you. Here's the deal. You don't need to have your life together to start taking it back. You are not too messy, too broken, too old, or too late to start over. This podcast is where we turn your chaos into clarity, your heartbreak into healing, and your mess into your magic. I'm Marilee Grace, and together we're rewriting the story loudly, boldly, and unapologetically. Buckle up, gorgeous. It's your time to rise.
Hello and happy Friday. I am Marilee Grace, and you are listening to Okay, so here's the deal, a podcast designed to help you navigate and build an amazing life after leaving a high conflict personality relationship. Today, I'm going to teach you the techniques that I personally use to help maintain my peace when stressful situations arise. There are times we can choose not to participate, and sometimes we can't. Sometimes situations arise when we least expect it. So, for those times when we want to be or have to be present, or when the situation starts to shift and go south, there are ways to help calm yourself, maintain your feeling of safeness, and keep your inner peace. I want you to practice these techniques right along with me. We're going to be doing them here live. So buckle up, gorgeous. It's time to feel inner peace. Easter may be a trigger day for some of us. And if we already know that, then we were able to use things that we learned back in episode 3 to help navigate the day. For others of us, maybe we got triggered for other reasons. Maybe this holiday wasn't your scheduled weekend with your children, and you had to have several different exchanges with your children's father. Stressful. Maybe you had to host the dinner and all the different personalities that were present that drained your energy. How about being around those high conflict personalities that were present and you struggled to maintain your boundaries? Or for some, maybe this weekend meant trying to keep everyone happy, which, by the way, is not possible, or trying to keep everyone safe because that's a burden you take upon yourself. Ultimately, though, for many of us that are here, there are as many different and interesting twists that can happen that tries to shut down our peace. So, what is a girl to do? Grounding techniques. Grounding techniques refocus our attention. They help anchor us during times of distress or anxiety and even trauma. They work by interrupting the distressing thoughts and instead engage our senses to provide a quicker calm and emotional regulation. Now, we're going to be practicing several together here. I want you to practice along with me so that you not only have the practice, you can feel what it feels like, and you can tuck those away in your toolkit. Many of the ones that we're going to do are very subtle. They're something that you can do anywhere, even in a room full of people. No one's going to even notice. So, first, we're going to start out with regulated breathing. When we are stressed, our breathing can become quick and shallow. So, learning to control that breath by being consciously aware of it and slowing it down and controlling it helps to calm us. It can be as simple as a 4 count in and a slow 4 count out. It's going to look like this. It's going to go 4 counts in through your nose and 4 counts out through your mouth. And you're just going to blow through a slight puckered lip like that. So it'd be, but I want you to practice with me, not just watch me. I'm going to do a little bit of counting, and then I'll eventually say in and you count in your head, and I'll say out and you blow out and count in your head. So the first one I'm going to count, and then the next three, I'm just going to say in and out. So get ready. And in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, out, in, out. One more time, in, out. There we go. You can go on for as long as you want with that. And it can be done while you're looking around, while you're watching people. You just can't do it when you're talking. It'd be impossible to breathe in and out and talk at the same time. But you get my drift. In for 4, out for 4. If you forget the numbers, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, was it 4? Was it 5? Was it 3? Was it in 4, out 6? We can make it so complicated. If you want to do 3 and 3, do 3 and 3. If you want to do 5 and 5, do 5 and 5. The numbers don't matter. It's the control. And doing it for more than one time, doing them several times. And you might find that you do the breathing for a few minutes. Well, not minutes, but you do a couple rounds of breathing, you're calm. And then a little while later, something else happens and you think, you need to breathe. Simple as that. And the thing about breath work is it's great to do it in so many different situations. It doesn't have to be when you're dealing with a high maintenance, toxic conflict personality. It can be done during rush hour. You can start your day before you even get out of bed and do some breaths. You can do it at night before you go to bed. Before a big important meeting. You can do it in the midst of a stressful situation. Really just incorporating this one small thing into your daily routine, doing it several times throughout the day, you're going to notice results. The next thing that we're going to do is something that we do when we're sitting, and it's called grounding and grounding into your seat. Now, how this works is I first want you to, if you're sitting, sit up a little bit taller. If you're lounging and slouching, reposition yourself. I want you to make it so where you're grounding your bottom into your seat. Your feet need to be flat on the floor. So if you have them crossed, which I sometimes sit with my legs crossed, ground them. The soles of your feet firmly on the ground. If you're able to take off your shoes, that's even better so that your feet are touching, your bare feet are touching the ground. If you are in a straighter back chair, mine kind of slants a little. So if I grounded into the back of my seat, I'd be kind of slouching and leaning back. But if you have a straight back chair, go ahead and really make it so where you can feel that chair against your back. And finally, I have armrests. If you have armrests, I like to push my elbows and rest my elbows onto the armrests. And that can also remind me to sit up a little bit straighter. So grounding can go from this, grounding in my seat goes from this to this. And if I'm consciously just telling myself, feel the seat, a little bit of firm pressure through my feet. I can feel my thighs against my chair. I feel my bottom against my chair. My elbows are against my chair. And you can even do that while you're breathing. And that's what that one looks like. If you happen to be outside or you can get outside, you can ground yourself by walking through the grass. The best way, of course, if you got sandals on or even if you've got shoes on, take those babies off and walk in the grass. Walk barefooted for 5, 10, 15 seconds, minutes, walk around. If you're not able to actually take off your shoes so that you can feel the grass, brush your hands against your plants. Touch a flower, bend down and smell the flower. Run your hand on the bark of a tree as you're walking past the leaves of a bush. Just touching nature, getting in connection with nature can be very grounding. If you can't get outside, it's too cold, it's snowing, it's raining, take your shoes off and walk around your house. If you have house plants, touch them. If you don't, you have a pet, pet your dog, pet your cat. If you've got a bird, whatever animal you have, if you can pet it, that can be very soothing and that can be grounding as well. And you can walk around barefoot around your house for this example. I'm not going to do it because I'm here. So that's one. Trust me, do it on your own. This next one, it's a fun one, might seem a little bit silly. It's humming. It doesn't matter if you're listening to music or not, just hum. If you are listening to music, it's very easy just to kind of hum along and nobody's going to even know what you're doing. And it's not about the noise itself, but it's about the vibration. You're going to feel the vibration in your chest. You're going to feel the vibration even in your face. If you're thinking, I need to be humming a song, what song would I hum if the music's not playing? You can hum anything. You can have a go to song in your head that you already are going to hum when you're practicing this and when you're actually doing this. If you're by yourself, you don't have to hum a song. You can just hum, kind of like you would if you were in a meditation session or if you were in a yoga class. It doesn't have to be loud, it can be a little bit softer. It's not about the volume, it's about getting that vibration deep in your chest, and you're going to feel it in your face. So it's going to look kind of like this. That's if we're not humming to anything. Okay. And I'm going to hum just solid. And I want you to hum with me. If you want to hum a song, I can't hear you. If we were in a group when we were all humming different songs, it might be a little bit chaotic, but hum a song if you want. Hum just a pitch if you want. And we're going to do it. I'm going to give you a countdown from 3, and then I want you to hum. We're going to do it about 5 seconds or so. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Did you feel it? You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your face. Keep hitting my mic today. Sorry if that makes weird sounds for you. Um, but yeah, you could feel it in your face. You could feel it in your chest. You can feel that in your body. You can hum louder. Hmm. Hum softer. Hmm. I also feel it in my lips, a little bit of vibration there. And if you have a go to song, it might be kind of like this. That one's kind of a hard one to hum. It was row, row, row your boat, if you could get that from what I was doing. I also felt it in my throat a little bit. So that was kind of, feels good. Feels good to hum. Nobody's going to know that you're doing it to calm yourself. You're just humming along. It's a great technique to use. Nobody's going to know, and you're going to get the results. Now, the last one that we're going to practice today together is hugging yourself. How do we go about hugging ourselves? And I'm not talking about this kind of a hug, although it could be that. I'm talking about a more subtle way of hugging yourself where nobody's going to even know that you're doing that. Now, there has been a great deal of research done about touching and hugging and the importance of it. And I believe that everyone can have so many positive benefits from that positive hugs or positive touch and more hugs. But what if you're a single woman? How are you going to go about getting that safe touch and safe hugs? And that's when you hug yourself. This technique is actually called havening. Yes, self hugging is havening. And it's a way for you to give yourself a gentle hug. It can be a hug where you give yourself a little bit of pressure, or it can be kind of a light, feathery type touch. It depends upon what you like. I personally, most of the time, want to go with a little bit more firmer pressure. And even with firmer pressure, nobody's going to know what you're doing. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. So here's what you do. Let's say we are going to haven and hug our arms, our upper arms and our forearms. Here's what it looks like. And I am, by the way, doing the pressure. So you look and see if you can tell that I am putting a little bit of pressure on my arms. Now, when I'm by myself, I can do it as hard as I want, and it doesn't matter if I can tell that I'm doing it. I'm not going to be looking in a mirror to go, oh my gosh, I'm hugging myself. But if I'm at an event, let's say I'm at a family gathering and we're outside in the yard and I'm getting a little bit, I'm losing some of my calm, I'm losing some of my peace. I've got the high conflict personality people, they're starting to bicker, things are happening, and I'm getting a little bit, oh gosh, what do I do? I can haven, and it can just look like, oh, it's a little bit chilly out here. Or, oh, what was that on me? Was that a bug? And especially if it's a light touch, it can be, oh, what's on me? Like that. I can do it like, oh gosh, I'm getting a little bit of a stress headache. And you can really do your head, and nobody's going to know. They're just going to think you got a little bit of a headache going on. And really, you're just doing a little bit of havening on your head. You could even do it on your face. You could do like, oh, I'm pushing away my hair. And that would be a light touch, you know, on your back. Straightening your clothes can be a way for you to get the gentle touches and haven. On your legs, wearing shorts. Oh, it's a little bit chilly out here. They don't see, they don't know that you're giving that firm pressure, and it's not going to be a fast movement. It's just slow. And you could even go down to your calves a little bit, over your knees. You could rub on your knees a little bit, and people might think, oh, her knees are a little bit stiff. No, pavening. I'm calming myself because y'all stressing me out a little bit, but you're here for a while longer. So I'm just going to haven, and nobody's going to know. So, havening, kind of gets everything going, kind of gets a little bit of movement, get a little bit of circulation, and I feel calm. With some of these, you can also practice some breathing. So with havening, it could be an in four, out four, like this. And you can practice in front of the mirror. If you're thinking, oh, it's going to look like I'm doing something weird, you can practice breathing in front of your mirror so that you're not blowing out like that, but just a slow little, small little pucker. Nobody's going to be able to tell if it's like that. And havening, just giving yourself a gentle little hug. Oh, I almost forgot with havening. You can even do your hands. You can just do some pressure on your hands like this, and nobody's going to notice. They're going to think that you're putting on some lotion. You could even get out some lotion, squirt it in your hand, and be rubbing slowly, doing havening. Nobody's going to notice. You want to put some lotion on your arms. Nobody's going to notice that you're havening on your arms. Same with your legs. Lotion is going to make it not be it's where you're as self-conscious. Once you get really good at it, you're not going to need the lotion. You'll be able to do it. Nobody knows. And one time when I really went, what made me a strong believer in havening was when I was at a baseball game. I was very newly divorced. The divorce was like maybe a month old. And I was sitting watching a baseball game, and my boy's father and his new girlfriend came and sat on the same bench, one seat away from me. 1 month out of a divorce, that was stressful. So I started to haven and breathe, and it looked like the arms just gentle on my arms and a little bit on my legs. And I pushed my hands, and you can even do your hands sitting in your with your hands sitting in your lap and really be giving yourself a strong uh, massage of your hands on that. Nowadays, though, 5 years later, they sit a seat away from me. It's not going to take up any mental space. But back then, thank goodness for havening and breathing. Other ways that you can get that touch is by petting animals, uh, hugging your children, hugging your friends. And when you hug your children, I'm not talking about a quick goodbye, kiss, hug. When I need a hug, I'll tell my kids I need a big, long hug, and they understand. And they always wait for me to release first. And I count slowly in my head to 20 because that's when the release and calm happens, is after about 20 seconds. You can also get some of that human touch by getting a manicure, a pedicure, or a massage. Now, just know that those last three, mani, pedi, and massage, those are great options. Just make sure it fits in your budget because that could get a little bit pricey if you did that very often, if it wasn't in your budget. And if you know me well, which I think you're starting to learn and get to know me a little bit better, I love to journal. So gratitude journaling, brain dump journal, or just journaling about anything can also be a way to ground yourself at the end of a hard day so that you aren't going to bed just with the hamster wheel going in your head. So journaling can be another great way as well. Now, I've shared a few techniques with you. These are by no means the only grounding techniques that are out there. And you might try some, and I hope you did try them along with me. When I was doing the havening, I didn't say start. I hope you did, though. And if you didn't, go ahead and haven a little bit while we finish up. But I just want you to know that these are not exhaustive. There are other grounding techniques. What's important is to find the ones that work well for you and knowing that they're going to work differently in different situations. You might use one over another pending the situation and the circumstances. One final thought before we part today. I am going to share with you a very fun technique that I learned from my coach, Sarah K. Ramsey, and it's called the Wonder Woman. I'm not doing it here. I don't have the space. So I'm going to set up someplace else in my home and I'm going to do a video and I'm going to attach the video in the comments so that you can see me, Wonder Woman. And like I said, it's a little bit funny. It's a little bit silly, but it's very effective. Now, this particular technique I used, and I was so thankful for when I went to a formal event and I was going to be around several high conflict personality people for several hours. And I needed something because I thought I'm just going to be walking around. And I didn't want that. So this was a great reset. And It was a great reset, and it even works when you're wearing a full length gown. Of course, when you see it, you're going to think, how did she do that without being noticed? I didn't. I didn't do it in front of people. That, my friends, is what the ladies' restroom is for. Or turning a corner, peeking into a hallway, hiding out in a cloak closet, just like Superman would. That's kind of fun. But anyway, it does look a little bit funny, but it is super effective. So make sure you click on the link in the comments so that you get that short video of me doing the Wonder Woman. And I want you to try it too. I think you'll notice it really is effective and it's kind of fun. Next week, we're going to be getting a little bit on the scientific side. We're going to be discussing the nervous system and our fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response, and our rest and digest response. Now, this week, we learned how to regulate our bodies. And next week, we're going to learn just why in the world our bodies do that to us in the first place. And I promise I will try not to sound like a human physiology book. I'm going to try hard. Until next week, friends, remember, you are not meant to do this alone. Together, we will continue to rise. Hey, beautiful. Thank you for spending time with me today. And congratulations for showing up for yourself. If today's episode was helpful, share it with a friend and let me know in the comments what resonated most. Your feedback helps me create content that truly matters as we grow this community together. If you haven't already, subscribe and leave a review. It helps this podcast reach more women who need this space. Okay, so here's the deal. You can find me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I'll meet you back here next Friday. Until then, remember, you belong here. It's time to rise.